Okay.
All right, the next one is Christmas traditions. Now, I mentioned in the intro that I'm Sri Lankan Tamil. Although I was brought up in German, our family isn't really big on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Since my parents are Hindu. So it's never been sort of like a religious festival in our home. We celebrated Diwali and all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That said, we do have a Christmas tree and Christmas lightings.
Is that something that you do? Or...
No, I think my parents started it.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like a regular thing, especially now that I have a nephew. We sort of make it quite bright with the lights because he loves that and he goes crazy. Mm-hmm. And we do get together for Christmas dinner with all the cousins and aunts and all that stuff. But there's no present giving. There's no going to church.
Okay.
Which so we've sort of pretty much got the best stuff because none of us are pressured to buy Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Which I always like. If I've never done it, but if I had, I think I'd hate that.
Yeah, it's a massive cause of anxiety. It's just it's a lot.
Yeah. But what does Christmas look like in your household? Because you're half, like, your dad's Muslim, your mum's Christian. How exactly does Christmas look like in your McGee household?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, as in, I feel like most people that are kind of mixed race sometimes pick and choose from both of their cultures. So I definitely kind of pick the festivities on both sides. So we do celebrate Eid and we celebrate Christmas as well. So we have the tree up and we give presents and we just do the normal kind of shebang. And in Italy, we have something called La Vigilia, which is basically Christmas Eve. And
what's the called, sorry, again? The
Vigilia.
Okay.
So that's basically, I mean, apparently, so you can ask any Italian this, but apparently, most Italians won't know. So it's kind of an Italian-American thing called, it's called Seven Fishes. And we do actually eat seafood on Christmas Eve. So we celebrate that more than Christmas Day, food-wise.
Okay.
But then we also have, I don't know if you heard of La Befana, which is basically, she's like a babushka that like delivers presents to kids on the 6th of January. So we do a bit of that.
The 6th of January?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's more kind of like stockings and people put chocolates in it and sweets and things like that. But we do celebrate Christmas Day, so we still have Father Christmas in our culture and things like that.
But isn't that what Santa Claus does? Put presents in the stockings? Or is this something completely different?
No, I think, it's something quite different. I think it's got to do with, like, the three wise men and how they met her, something to do with the star.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, like, they kind of met her further into, going to find baby Jesus. I don't know the story properly. But, yeah,
Good Christian.
I think kind of that day, the Epiphany is kind of more to do with sweets, and then Christmas Day is like Santa Claus, and it's more of an American kind of celebration that we've adopted, like everyone else.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And I think the whole seafood thing, I actually didn't know anything about it, because most of us Italians are just kind of like, we're all about eating, don't really care about the history. But I looked into it a bit, and apparently it's we eat seafood because it represents the end of fasting. So the abundance of seafood, it reflects the tradition of abstinence from red meat until the actual feast of Christmas Day itself. So I think people used to kind of fast and take it a lot more seriously and then just eat seafood on Christmas Day. So yeah.
Fair enough. I think there are quite a lot of traditions going around, a lot of traditions and customs where people don't really know the meaning behind it anymore.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's become more of a commercial event than a religious event, especially in Britain, which is, I think it's the least religious country in the world.
Really?
I think it's got like more than 50% atheists.
Oh, wow, okay. But it's not actually considered a secular country, is it?
is it? No, I don't know.
No, I think when we went to Czech Republic, that was that kind of stood out for me. The fact that Prague is actually considered like an atheist country, and that was my first time ever actually going to an atheist country.
What, the Czech Republic, is it?
Yeah, it is. It doesn't actually.
But it does have a very sort of rich Christian history, doesn't it? Like if you go around just Prague, like all these cathedrals and churches.
Yeah, I think so. But I
Yeah.
think in general it's not really.
Like these days.
Yeah, a lot of people kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Probably, especially sort of post the Second World War.
So
Yeah. So just sort of speaking of customs and traditions that everyone does, we've got like a little thing prepared where we talk about certain traditions that everyone does, but no one really knows the meaning behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've prepared a few things, and you know, you being a Christian or half Christian, let's see how much you know.
Half Christian.
So the Christmas pudding.
Okay.
There's actually a lot of superstitions around the Christmas pudding.
Okay.
I don't think I've actually ever had a Christmas pudding, to be honest. Anyways, so do you know anything about the Christmas pudding? What is it? What it's about? What's
no,
the
not really.
symbolism?
Not at all.
So apparently, the Christmas pudding traditionally is supposed to be made with 13 ingredients that are then to represent Jesus and his disciples.
Okay. Like
Yeah,
what?
and what do you mean?
What kind
Oh,
of
what are the 13
Yeah.
ingredients? I think it's just like any 13 ingredients.
Oh, okay. So it's more like a
And
symbolic
every
thing.
member of the family is supposed to take turns in stirring the pudding with a wooden spoon.
I think I've heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's supposed to go like when you stir the pudding, it's supposed to go from east to west in honor of the wise men as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's quite interesting. And another, which I just find that absolutely fascinating, is that you sometimes you put things into the pudding like as sort of like a token.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, like a 5p coin or something like that. Like
Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah. And then
Yeah,
what happens
so-
if you find it? Just lots of good luck and.
Well, it depends what you
Fortune.
find. So there's this thing called a bachelor's button.
Mm-hmm.
So if a single man finds it, then it means that he'll be a bachelor. He'll be single the next year as well.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a female equivalent called the spinster's thimble, also called the old maid's thimble.
Mm-hmm.
So if a single lady finds it, she will be single next year as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's great.
But if you find a ring in your pudding,
Mm-hmm.
be it male or female, it means that you will get married in the following year. It can also mean that you will find riches and
Okay.
basically make money in the following year.
I wonder
But
if anyone actually still keeps to these traditions. Do you think it's like the older generation that still does that kind of thing, or do you reckon people still do it? I don't think I know anyone that really.
I don't know anyone who's rich enough to just put a ring in a Christmas pudding, mate, and just be like, "Oh, who found the ring? No one."
Yeah, I know. Well,
All
to
right,
be fair,
everyone keep a lookout when you go to the toilet, guys.
Oh my god,
That was the diamond ring.
painful. But yeah, yeah. Well, it would probably only be like a kind of sovereign cheap ring from like Argos or something, anyways. Really.
Yeah, but I can't really see that happening. If any of you do that, we would love to hear about it. But I
Yeah.
think it's more of like a Victorian,
Oh right.
pre-Victorian tradition.
Okay.
I don't think anyone these days does it.
Interesting.
Every day's a school day, especially with us, especially when you listen to most Mosaic,
Oh,
guys.
yeah,
Another
darling.
reason to tune in.
Of course. Trying to reel you
Next
in.
thing, yes, exactly. The next thing, the Christmas tree. Do you know the tradition behind the Christmas tree?
No, but I feel like I should know. Please educate me.
It's actually quite simple. So a lot of Christians, but also pagans, used to have the evergreen fir tree in their house, just as a sign of sort of spring and as a symbol of life in the middle of winter when there's no life around, nothing's green. But then you have this evergreen tree, which symbolizes sort of life. So they used to decorate their homes with it. Sort of brighten up their homes, I suppose.
Okay.
And apparently the first documented use of a tree at Christmas was supposed to have happened in Estonia or Latvia. People aren't too sure about that. In one of these countries around the 15th/16th century.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite an old tradition,
Okay.
which then found its way to England
Mm-hmm.
when Prince Albert, who was German, married Queen Victoria in 1840.
Yeah.
So that he sort of introduced that tradition to England.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And what about the
Yeah.
decorations? Was that something that was later kind of adopted, or?
Yeah, I think that was just sort of a more commercial thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
Just to sort of make money. Another fun fact though is that what pagans used to do is they used to have the tree in the middle of the town square, and they used to dance around it
Okay.
and then set it on fire.
Oh.
So a bit like what's it called? Remembrance Day. Well, not you don't light a tree on fire, but you still do have sort of like a bonfire, don't you? So I think it's
Oh, what do you mean for Guy Fawkes?
yeah.
Yeah, no, it is the same thing. People love lighting things up, don't they? And just dancing
Exactly.
around
So I
and-
think this is something quite similar, that they sort of had this in the town square, had the tree, just dance around, probably have a drink or two,
Okay.
just have a merry good time, and then set it on fire.
Oh, and was it always the same kind of tree, like kind of the pine tree, or was it just any kind? Because that's quite that's
I
quite
think it'd be-
characteristic of those countries, isn't it?
Well, I think it's the pine tree because that's the one tree that's still green
Yeah.
in winter.
So it never really evolved. Oh, so it's the only. Yeah, it is actually, isn't it? Because a lot
Yeah.
of other trees molt during the winter. That's true.
Exactly, yeah. So that's why they have it, because it stays. It's an evergreen tree. It's always green, and that's why it sort of
Oh.
symbolized life and sort of reminded them of the spring to come.
Oh, interesting. Something to
Yeah.
kind of keep people positive.
Keep in
too.
mind, yeah.
Yeah.
Next thing, the mistletoe, everyone's favourite,
Ooh.
every creep's favourite.
Oh God.
If you've
Yeah.
ever been to a Christmas party, there's always one creep
I haven't seen one bit of mistletoe this year, and I don't plan
lingering
to.
around.
No.
No. But you usually have them at like if you go to people's places and they have like a Christmas party, then you'd see them. I don't think people just have them randomly.
Yeah.
What will happen if you have it, like, say you have it from mid-December till, I don't know, mid-January, and you have it in your home? Would you have to kiss your partner or your parents every time you...
Constantly, yeah. You have to keep tradition, like
Bloody hell.
Be
That's
true
a lot
to
of
the
kissing going
mistletoe.
around.
Definitely.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I mean,
So-
it's something I just haven't seen ever, like for the last few years, at parties or anything like that. Have you seen it at all? I think it's kind of like one of those extinct kind of things that people
Yeah, I think that people got rid of it to sort of avoid having to snog
sex
a
purse.
stranger.
Sex pest, sorry, not purse.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Well, the history behind it's actually quite sweet. So apparently the Druids believed that the mistletoe fell from heaven and grew onto a tree on Earth. So the mistletoe was a representation of joining heaven and earth, and thus sort of God's reconciliation with mankind.
Oh, that's a sweet one.
So that kiss under the mistletoe stands for acceptance.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
So it's actually quite sweet, but then it turned into that, yeah, exactly what you said, like this excuse for sex pests.
Exactly.
Just get some action last minute.
Oh, yeah, it's quite interesting actually.
Yeah.
Well, I have a few facts as well. They're not as serious though. They're a bit more silly. So, well,
Go
one
on.
of them isn't. So the first
Intrigued.
one, basically, it's about Rudolph. So Norwegian scientists.
Rudolph the red-nosed
Reindeer had a very shiny nose.
nose.
So basically, Norwegian scientists have hypothesized that Rudolph's red nose is probably the result of a parasitic infection of his
Oh
respiratory
no!
system.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Jesus, you might as well tell people there's no Santa Claus.
I know.
Why are you doing that?
I know,
Oh,
just
no.
shattering everyone's dreams today.
Oh, poor Rudolph.
I know. And another quite
Wait,
interesting.
so it was generally like infection that made his nose turn red?
Well, yeah, it's basically a theory. So yeah, I mean, it is quite possible.
Maybe he was
really.
just drunk.
Yeah, that's
You know
true.
how some people get like a red nose when they're
Yeah.
drunk or when they're alcoholics.
Do you think that would
Maybe it was
happen to
just
an animal as well?
alcoholic reindeer?
Maybe, yeah.
I prefer that theory to he's got a bacterial infection, to be honest.
An alcoholic reindeer. Oh, that's nice. That's actually funny. My dad actually recently came back from Sudan and he told me a story about this goat that was addicted to coffee. And it basically passed out because it had
Wait, a goat?
a goat, yeah. This
I thought you said a bloke.
No, no,
A
no.
Goat?
goat.
How can... Okay, go on.
And yeah, the goat actually passed out because it just didn't have its fix of coffee because she passed away. Sorry, the owner passed away. And the goat obviously didn't have anyone to communicate to and tell them, look, I need coffee or whatever. So it passed
I need
out.
a latte
Yeah, I need a hit, honey.
with caramel syrup, please.
Exactly. So yeah, and
And
then
the local Starbucks was closed, was it?
exactly in Sudan, yeah. So yeah, apparently animals, yeah, they do actually suffer
Wait,
from
so the
these
owner
issues.
gave the goat like actual coffee in a mug or
Yeah, like
in a bowl?
she used to kind of like regularly drink coffee with the goat because I think it's quite like it's kind of traditional in Sudan to kind of drink coffee in company, and I think she was quite a lonely lady.
Yeah, but you know, like, listen, coffee and company, that's, I'm all for it, but with your goat, really?
There are limits, honey, there are limits.
Do they
Yeah.
not have Tinder in Sudan?
I don't think so. That's probably banned and censored, but yeah, no, desperate times.
I thought you meant maybe like it was chewing like coffee beans. I don't know where they're Sudan
That would probably
grows
be
coffee
more
beans,
viable,
but-
actually. Coffee, yeah, no, but he would literally like drink coffee out of like a mug or a bowl or something with his owner. So
Did
yeah.
it take sugar or milk?
I don't know. You know,
Ba-dum.
goats these days, they're probably really
Yeah.
like diva-ish.
With all their extra wishes, yeah. Diva.
Yeah, so that's one fact. Another one,
Mm-hmm.
so, you know, before we were talking about seasons and
Mm-hmm.
our favourite seasons and whatever, and it says here, contrary to popular belief, suicide rates during the Christmas holiday are actually quite low. So the highest rates are during the spring. Apparently, yeah.
Ha!
Which is
How
quite
about that
weird,
one?
yeah. Didn't actually know that. I literally thought it would be Christmas or January, like winter,
Yeah.
beginning of winter. It's just
Like January,
abysmal
February,
months.
that's what I'd say, because that's sort of the time where you have nothing to look forward to. Like Christmas is done, you had a shitty New Year, because you always have a shitty New Year.
Yeah,
You've
no.
never had an amazing New Year.
New Year's
You-
are always like underwhelming,
Disappointment,
just
yeah.
awful. You always plan stuff and then you end up going out. It's too expensive, too cold. It's just depressing. Your life's not where it should be. It's just a mess. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
basically.
Unless you're like, you belong to the 1%, where you don't have to worry about anything, you always have a miserable New Year's Eve.
yeah, if you're like
And after that, it just gets worse because you have nothing to look forward to in January and February. It's just cold and miserable, and you have to go to work.
yeah, it's horrible. Unless you're like a Saudi sheikh or a Russian oligarch and you're just rich, you don't care. You're on holiday like 12 months a year. You're
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
like
yeah,
living
yeah.
the life. Then like
Yeah, but we're talking about sort of the average
The
Joe and the
normal
average Jane. Yeah. How about that in spring?
I know that really surprised me. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, on this lovely note, we're wrapping up that segment of ours
Yeah.
and moving on to the Christmas news. But before we do that, what do we do, Sarah?
We're gonna sing you another song.
We're gonna sing you a song. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. But this year, to save me from tears, I give it to someone special.
Oh yeah, well done, girl, well done.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry